René Bengelsdorf, aviation CEO, FAA board alum, and high performance business coach. From the cockpit to the control tower, I've interviewed women across the industry. You're in for a treat with these mini episodes. I hope they whet your appetite for the longer versions that will drop every Tuesday going forward. Welcome to the Fly Girls Guide podcast. Hey, welcome to this episode of Fly Girls Guide to Aviation Careers. I am interviewing a brand new friend, Cassidy Moore, about her critically important aviation career. Cassidy, tell everyone what you do.
Well, I am an A&P IA. I do annual inspections, scheduled, unscheduled maintenance, logbook audits, paperwork, and all the things surrounding keeping airplanes flying.
I love it. So for people who don't know, what's an A&P and what's an IA?
An A&P is an airframe and power plant. It is a certificate you get from the FAA allowing you to work into the intricacies of a fuselage, tail components, landing gear, all the things that make up an airframe. The power plant gives you the ability to work on propellers and engines. If you're working on a turbofan, then it gives you that, that. The IA is an inspection authorization, and the inspection authorization gives me the power to return to service an aircraft either out of a major repair and alteration or directly out of an annual inspection.
Wow. What do you have to do to qualify to be able to do that, other than the FAA giving you permission?
So for the A&P, it's a 2-year school. In some cases, there are different variations and versions. But for the most standard practice, there is a 2-year, usually through a technical community college type thing. Once you have your A&P, you stay in practice for 3 years, and that has to be a consistent 3 years of on-the-job maintenance that you can apply for your IA. And then once you apply for the IA, they will give you the ability to take a test, and you can go through and get your inspection authorization. And the rest from there, those are kind of your 2 levels of maintenance. Outside of that, it's all on the job learning.
I love it. So beyond just working on airplanes, what do you do in your role?
I not only maintain the aircraft, but I also maintain the logbooks. An aircraft the aircraft's value is based heavily on the paperwork of the aircraft. The joke has always been that the paperwork better outweigh the airplane for it to be worth anything. So I end up in my role as a mechanic, I also have to make sure that all of the paperwork complies with the FAA standards, whether that be airworthiness directives, for those that may not know, kind of a recall, as you would see in the automotive industry. And then any major alterations, if I'm going to add something to the airplane, I need to make sure that the paperwork is taken care of on that. Your paperwork becomes a little more lax when you get to the experimental side, but if we're talking just certified like what I work on, it's pretty hefty side of the house.
I know one of the things that you're really passionate about is making sure that pilot owners like me understand more about their airframe. How do you do that?
So I do owner assist annuals. So I allow the owner operator to come in, even if they're not mechanically inclined. I can teach you how to use a screwdriver. But basically what I do is I allow the owner operator to come in to work alongside me during the annual to make sure that they can see how things operate and they're in a controlled environment. So if there's been that burning question about what happens if I poke this or pull that, you get the opportunity to do it. Number one thing is emergency extensions on aircraft. If you have one with retract gear, that's something we can do in an owner assist annual where you wouldn't be able to do that out in the world. You're in a controlled environment. You can get the opportunity to see what it's like. And that's kind of a big thing, is just making sure that communication is there and that you become more aware of your aircraft.
Wow, what a great practice. What are some things that you think are important skills for someone to have if they're considering a career in aviation maintenance?
Attention to detail is probably the number one item. There are a lot of little intricacies to aviation and to aircraft, so an attention to detail is definitely a big thing. Check your ego at the door. We don't have those in this industry, as much as some people may. I highly recommend that you don't do that. The ability to comprehend. So for me, I'm a hands-on learner, but if you have that ability to read and comprehend and put that immediately into work, that is a super huge deal. And I definitely love to see people like that come into this industry. But the other is definitely patience. Having and knowing and understanding, or at least being willing to build upon the patience, is something that will definitely work in your favor if you want to be an airplane mechanic.
Well, you're such an inspiration to so many people. Do you want to shout out your Instagram handle as we close so that people can follow you on
Yeah,
Instagram or Facebook?
I am the Hanger Queen, and my Instagram is Hanger Queen 12, and Facebook is Hanger Queen Aviation Services.
I love it. Thanks so much. And by the way, I just have to ask out of curiosity, the pink toolboxes special order, or can you just get those off the shelf?
I actually had to special order mine because I went with a much larger toolbox from Snap-on. But everything, I own everything pink Snap-on's ever made. Snap-on, sponsor me. But I have, yeah, everything. I've got a small roll cart, a large toolbox, even down to the gloves in the shop are pink.
I love it. Thanks so much, Cassidy, for being on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for listening. If this inspired you, subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss even more brilliance in the episodes to come.